If you are like most merchants, Google Analytics 4 is kind of an enigma. I mean, Google Analytics 3, had some challenging aspects to it, but it felt like the barrier to entry was fairly low, so you can start getting some value out of it. And then you had all these different things you could do to get more information and really dive even deeper into your website performance analytics. Well, GA4 feels like it turned all of that on its head. Everything we've learned in GA3 is out the window. It's kind of like, well, like they say it's a new version, but in reality, it's an entirely new product. And even worse, in this case, it's actually a new paradigm. Well, all of that is actually true. Google Analytics 4 is a new paradigm, new way of thinking, but it's actually really powerful and has some cool advantages to it, except for the fact that there are some pitfalls you have to avoid. The concept we're going to be talking about today is the conversion rate. Now, conversion rates as old as the hills, and yet Google decided that GA4 was not going to have that labeling basically anywhere in the system. The good news is they actually replaced it with something else. It's even a little bit more flexible, but it's one of those areas that can introduce a pitfall, and I'm going to prove it actually in the demo account for Google Analytics here today. So you'll get to follow along with that. We are going to show you where the conversion rate is right here today. You can find it in your own Google Analytics 4 account. I'm Joseph, and I am really excited to be able to bring this information to you to help you grow in your craft as an e-commerce manager, help you succeed and thrive, nailing those goals that your leadership team has set for you to hit on the website. In this conversation here today, we're going to be bringing some news and then dive into this more technical concept of understanding Google Analytics 4. This type of information is our philosophy here at SwiftOtter. So whether it's the videos like this eCom Buzz, and actually, slight side note, you can sign up to get these every Thursday at noon Eastern time. Sign up to receive these, no spam whatsoever. But this is our philosophy, is merchant education, helping you succeed and thrive at your craft. Whether it's this or user experience analysis or audits or search engine optimization or building out features to help increase the search engine conversion rate or make your admin team more capable, or the table stakes such as platform upgrades and maintenance, etc. That's what we do here at SwiftOtter, and we love doing it, helping merchants be successful. So with that, let's jump in to the news for the day. The good news, and we're going to start out with good news, I love it, is the holiday season, according to Signified, is appearing to be better than ever. Well, that's an Apple comment. Well, I still can use it. So Signified did their research. I don't know how they do this stuff. Hopefully they're not just making things up. But it is looking like it is going to be 8% up. So hopefully your inventory is ready for a better holiday season. It might be just time to double down on a little bit extra spend, so maybe you can eke out even more than 8%. I think this is also good news here coming up as well, and that is that Shein and Temu might have the brakes put on just a little bit. You see, one of the reasons for the massive rise of their popularity or success, or I don't know, takeover of the U.S. markets is the fact that they were exploiting what some might view as a loophole, and that is the de minimis rule. Basically, any order under $800 US ended up being exempt from tariffs, which were fairly steep. So basically, there's probably a few products on those marketplaces that are above $800, but it's not many. Most of them are probably under $10. So the vast majority of those products end up slipping through without tariffs on them. Now, is it going to make a huge difference at the end of the day with a 25% tariffs put on many of the products? Yeah, probably not, but it is something. So the U.S. government is working at tightening that up, and to be honest, I'm not really too disappointed about that. These companies have been an absolute thorn in the sides of U.S. retailers, and I firmly believe that the U.S. needs to support U.S. businesses first above any other businesses internationally. So we'll see how that proceeds further. Next up is something that's also really powerful and going to be helpful overall, and that is ChatGPT got a makeover. You see, It's been smart in the past, and honestly, it's been pretty good. I actually use a different AI tool that I find is a little bit better for when it comes to writing and inspiration like that. But ChatGPT is kind of the mainstay. It's here, and a lot of people use it. In fact, my next conversation here coming up in 2 weeks is literally going to be about AI and how and some ways that you can use it to increase your productivity and efficiency. But what happened to ChatGPT? Well, they released a new version, and that is a reasoning system. So basically being able to figure out the right answer through human-like reasoning. And I'll be curious to see how that works out. It's a very interesting concept, and they're improving rapidly. I mean, rapidly. So there you go. Give it a try if you're not already subscribed to ChatGPT. Give it a try, and let's see what you think of it. Drop those thoughts in the comments below. On to our primary point of conversation here for today, and that is this. May the conversion rate rest in peace, but not forever. May key events live forever. You see, what actually happened here is Google Analytics said conversion rate is kind of an old way of thinking about this problem. Key events is really how we need to solve this, but that's getting way ahead of myself. I told you in the beginning that Google Analytics 4 brings an entirely new different paradigm to this way of thinking with understanding behaviors on websites. So what they realized was Google Analytics 3 was more or less hard-coded to specific problems or specific areas of analytics. And instead of doing that, they could become much more flexible by accepting this stream of event data. Basically, everything that happens is an event on your website, whether somebody clicks on a link or purchases a checkout, a cart, whether they proceed through step 1 of the address form on the checkout, or whether they put in a contact form, or whether when they're interacting with an app on their phones. All of this stuff is simply events and can be coded as such. So what Google Analytics realized is we can make this more usable across more platforms, across more use cases by simply broadening out how we approach these problems. And that's exactly what they did in Google Analytics 4. And I think that is one of those keys to unlocking Google Analytics 4 is understanding that it's basically used for everything, all different purposes. And so it's a matter of us making it what we want it to be, which, yeah, I get it. It does increase the complexity. So let's first talk about key events and where to find them. So you probably are already familiar with, if we come into reports, we come over to engagement, and we have events. We have a list of events that are triggered on the website. A lot of these use common nomenclature. It's fairly straightforward. And by the way, this is the Google Analytics demo account. I love it for learning and exploration. A great tool. The only downside, it is view only or read only, so you can't necessarily make changes to it, and I'll show you how that is a bit of a limitation here later. But you can see the list of events right here. Now, an event can be promoted to a key event. A key event or key events is basically a bucket of designated events that then are used as a ratio to sessions or users. So if we think about a conversion rate, that was the number of users to the number of purchases. It was a ratio, and very useful in understanding the effectiveness of our website or the changes made to it, whether those changes were positive or negative. We want the conversion rate to be as absolutely high as possible. Well, key events is basically the conversion rate expanded. So let's take a look and see where this conversion or these key events are found. So we come over here into admin, data display, and key events. So what we will see right here is we have 3 key events that have been selected. I cannot make changes, again, because this is a read-only view of this. However, we see add to cart, purchase, and view item are all marked as key events. And I would submit that this is incorrectly configured. So if we think about this, when a user comes to the website and they click on add, or they add something to the cart, that means that that key event is now successful. This bucket is successful, which means that that one person who come to the website and clicks add to cart would have a 100% conversion rate if we want to use old nomenclature here. Now, there's that, but then we have view item. That's even worse. So everybody's going to pretty much view an item when they come to our website. So then that means basically this is a conversion rate metric is going to be basically impossible to see. So in your website, you should only have purchase be selected as a key event. Thus, it will present the correct information to you when you go here and look at the reports and specifically the acquisition reports. Now, in this demo account, I cannot edit it. So normally you can add this as a column here to be able to get that same, roughly that conversion rate in here. I cannot do that just because this is the demo account, but this is where you would get that set and pretty easy to say. In the article that is associated with this video, see the link in the description below, it will give you the actual reports. I have pulled together those reports that allow you to insert this as a useful metric here. Now, one other thing, and this is a cool trick that is easy to miss, but if you come in here, and this is actually now I'm in our SwiftOtter Google Analytics 4 account. If you come in here on the main homepage dashboard, there is a link to View Insights, or I think it says All Insights. What you can do is come in here and to click Create, and we'll select Key Events right here. You can have Google Analytics notify you if there is an anomaly with these key events. So basically the key event ratio, what's that looking like? And is there is it going out of the standard area for deviation? This is really powerful. In fact, you can also set it up to look at different dimensions as well. So you can, how is this looking on your iPhone or your on mobile or desktop or tablets or whatever. Like this is really, really powerful. You can even set this to notify you on an hourly basis, which is really powerful. Send it to your email. You can name it out as well. So this is one of those cool tricks that was not overly possible in Google Analytics 3. Now it's possible in GA4. And one of those things that I think is going to make it give you more peace of mind, because it's one thing to go through and check this once a week. Oh, shoot, our conversion rate is down. It's another thing to have Google Analytics being that watchdog always out there for you, seeing is this performing as we expect it to and what is happening, why, or giving me that initial alert warning mechanism to ensure that we are notified as early as possible for potential changes or problems in this process. So there you go. There is the conversion rate in Google Analytics 4. My goal is here over the next few months to demystify some of these aspects of this control panel. It's really powerful, but it's just been shrouded in this mystery of the new paradigm. And it's not as difficult as you think it is once we start pulling back these layers of how this platform was designed. And I hope you follow along to find out even more about how this system works. Take care.